My name is Jennifer Thompson, and my business is Fascinos Bridal and Formal Attire. I'm originally from Bronx, New York. Went to college for fashion design. I also worked in New York City in fashion design. Even if you've worked in the business, you don't know everything about the business because when you get into the business, there's a whole lot of challenges. And the first thing is the actual running of the business. You have to wear a lot of hats. So you have to know the marketing. You have to be a seller. You have to be the person who hires people. There's so many different things that you have to know and do. And I don't think people know that in the very beginning. Yeah, I think that's another thing you think. You think you're going to be the boss, and then you think, oh, I'm going to just be able to tell people to do, and then I'm going to be able to go out. The main thing I can notice right off the bat with the training, it's helped with the hiring process, how to motivate people, and really the most important to me, I think, was learning how to do a website, learning how to put a website together, learning how to optimize the website, learning how to blog, learning social media, because we had an old school website, and I think we got maybe 50 hits a month. And then once we improved our website, our optimization, we started getting more calls and more calls. And I mean, I think our highest number so far has been up in 3,000s. And I think that gets more phone calls, more people walking in the door, obviously more customers to us that we can speak with and, sell our product. I believe that the training that you get here is probably going to be the best money spent. You could go take courses, you could read books on these things, you could learn a lot that way, or you could do it right here, all in one place, and save yourself a lot of time and money. So you don't know anything in the beginning when you start a business, and you really need to know as much as you possibly can to make your business thrive.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrive Time Show, starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zellner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. The C's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Want to attend the legendary Thrive Time Show Business Workshop for free? Subscribe on iTunes, leave an objective review, and send us confirmation at info@thrivetimeshow.com to claim your tickets. Want to live in a van down by the river? Come by and see us at our Riverwalk offices, and we'll be able to make your dreams come true.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to another exclusive podcast edition of the Thrive Time Show on your podcast download. And I'm joined here with Dr. Robert Zellner, who returns to us from his excursions.
Hola, Thrivers.
Did you leave America on your last
No,
trip?
I did not leave America.
I don't know. He just
United
gave a little,
States of America.
He gave a little hint there with the hola. I don't know.
I was curious. Okay, so you had
I was in South Texas or Florida, right? Yeah.
you did national traveling, not international traveling.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And we have Harley Lichtenstein, a graduate from Oral Roberts
Lichtenstein.
University. What's your last name, Harley?
It is Lichty, yes.
Short for
Lichtenstein.
Lichtenstein, obviously.
Okay, so
Obviously, it's been shortened in an attempt to
Hard to
He's
spell.
a
I would too.
graduate from Oral Roberts University, and he is here to talk to us about whatever he wants to talk about. So, what is the question that you have? You cannot talk about sauerkraut or Volkswagen or David Hasselhoff.
The Wiener Schnitzels?
Venus Schnitzels.
I love all the German stuff there. You know, Zellner, man, that's his German back.
Yeah.
Roll out the barrel. Roll out the barrel of fun. Okay, Harley, what is your business coach question?
All right. Well, I think this question's actually made a little more fun, for you and Clay to reminisce on.
Okay.
So I want to know, what was some crazy moves or some stories that you had with some of your businesses? You look back and you kind of think, man, that was actually absolutely nuts. I can't believe we did that.
Okay. You want to go first?
I want to go. Mine was my
Just a little story time
famous one where I put billboards all over Tulsa, and on it said LASIK. That's the eye surgery.
Okay.
$1.
LASIK.
Call for details.
Wow.
I thought we were going to burn up phone lines.
How long did you think about that idea before you did it?
That's a good question. I don't know that exactly, to be honest with
But
you.
you had the feeling that this is going to be hot.
Pretty
I mean, you had
radical
to
idea.
feel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was so hot that because
I think you know that.
The board of optometry in Oklahoma actually came and had me. Their attorney, their in-house attorney, sat me down and was like, got onto me. Did a deposition. I mean, it wasn't like a lawsuit, but it was like you can't. What's going on here?
Right.
I had everybody irritated with that one. I look back and I've got in my office right now. I've got a little mini, like a little mini version of that billboard that I look every now and then. I go over and I pay it. I go, hey, that was a good one. That was crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
I think for me the moment where I felt like my hair is on fire the most as an entrepreneur was when I tried to get into the bridal show, the Tulsa wedding show that they had over at the Warren Hotel. It was the Warren Doubletree, where they have the free cookies, Dr. Z.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to get in that show because it was the bridal show of choice. There was about 80 vendors in there. And I called up the person who was in charge of the show, and I said, hey, I'd like to buy a booth. And she says, well, you can't buy a booth because we already have 5 DJs in that category. You have 5 photographers, 5 DJs, 5 caterers, and for the quality of the trade show, we can't have more than 5 of each vendor category. We can't have like 45 DJs. We can have 5 of each category. And so I thought about it, and I thought, I've heard this now. This is my second year in a row, and I've heard this, and I don't want to wait until one of the DJs dies. I want to actually have success now.
So I took a shovel and I found out which of the.
So what I did though is I actually I talked to my wife about it briefly. I mean, it was not a long conversation. I definitely should have talked to her about it longer. I definitely screwed up here. But I went and talked to a friend of mine named Lori Montag, who owned Montag Photography. And I went to Lori and I said, Lori, you're in the big show. Do you make a lot of money at that? She goes, honey, every time I book a wedding, she was kind of like a mother in my life. She said, honey, every time that I book a wedding, I'm there since I was in 3rd grade. She says, every time I book a wedding, it's like a $2,500 deal. The income I make is $2,500 gross. My profit on that's typically like $2,000. I mean, it's like printing money. You've got to get in it. And I said, but I can't. She says, well, honey, why don't you create your own? And I remember that question. And I thought to myself, like, why don't I create my own? I started thinking, like, what could it possibly entail?
Yeah, what could it possibly?
I mean, a wedding show. What is it, like a ballroom?
How could this go bad?
It's a ballroom. I mean, pipe and drape. I mean, what is it really?
What is it?
What do you
So I say to Lori, I said, Lori, if I book the Renaissance Hotel, will you team up with me? She said, yeah, because for her, if she books even one thing, she's thinking, if I buy a booth at your sorry wedding show that, I mean, for $1,000, I mean, if I book even one wedding, it'll pay for itself. And she knew that I was kind of a gamer, so she decided to go in with me. And so we went to the Renaissance Hotel, and I talked to Trisha Kirkstra, and I reserved the ballroom. And the commitment to reserve the ballroom, we're talking about the big ballroom at the Renaissance Hotel.
Big ballroom.
I believe it was on a Sunday, so it was a better deal. But I believe it was like $12,000.
Ooh,
this is when the DJ company was maybe doing $200,000 a year of business, So I'm like, okay, I'll do it, Then I cold called, and I had worked on my script a lot because I wanted to make sure that I could nail it. So I cold called the Meadowbrook Country Club. Boop, 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 boop. I called every every venue in Tulsa, by the way. I call them and I talked to a lady named Libby, and she says, well, I said, Libby, I want to talk to you about being in the Tulsa Bridal Association wedding show. It's going to feature Lori Montag with Montag Photography, who was well known at the time, and myself. I was kind of an upstart, and the Renaissance Hotel and a bunch of other vendors. Are you in? She said, well, if you'll send me a bunch of vendors that are actually in it, then I could look at it. But until I see other vendors, I can't really move forward. And I thought, oh, I tell you what, I'm so tired of her looking at logic and reason. This lady, she hates me. Olivia.
She hates me.
So I cold called the next place. I called Kitty Dishman at the Oklahoma Golf Club of Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And Kitty said, well, who's all in it? And I said, well, you got, this is how I did it, though. I said, we got myself, DJ Connection. We got a Montag Photography. I mean, we got a Renaissance Hotel. I mean, pretty much everybody. I mean, she's say, okay, I'll do it. I said, you want to do debit card or credit card? And she says, well, debit card. And I'm going, oh my yes, yes, said yes. Now here's the deal. It was about 12, grand to rent the ballroom, but then on top of that, you had the pipe and the drape, and I got the quote in, and it was like 10 grand. So I'm like, it's 22 grand. Now I got a quote from Lauren, my advertisement rep at Channel 8, and she said it would be almost 20,000 to advertise. I'm like, absolutely. Well, see, when you take 20,000 and you take 12,000 and you take
10,
pretty soon you realize I'm like 40 in here. So I've got
in.
to sell like 50 to 60 booths just to
Cover your
break
nut.
even. Yeah. And I got like 45 days left, and these bills are going to come, and I don't have that kind of savings. So I'm just starting to cold call, and I remember I got Renaissance to say yes. I got, because they were the location.
Yeah.
I got Golf Club Oklahoma. I remember I got Signature Cakes in. Then I called their competitor. I called Merritt's Bakery. I said, hey, heard from a lot of brides you're a great wedding vendor. I've got Renaissance in there. I've got the Golf Club Oklahoma in. I've got Signature Cakes. I mean, I've got Montag Photography. I mean, I hate to have you miss out. They said, sure. And the bigger companies don't mind spending 5% of their gross revenue on ads. They almost like say yes to anything. They're used to. So you're like that with your optometry clinic. I mean, if it's a sane marketing idea, you have a certain budget, and you're going to advertise on the back of a bus or on a commercial or whatever makes sense. I mean, you're
Get on the bus, Gus. Don't need to discuss much.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
I was on a bus. Sorry.
So
was I not on a bus?
Very
I wanted to give
very
you
appropriate.
time and space to work that out if you wanted to continue singing it.
I think the Thrive Nation would vote no. So
I continue. I'm cold calling. Pretty soon, I got to about 60 vendors, 70 vendors.
Wow.
And I remember going,
You're charging.
I still am not break even. So I cold called this thing called, it was like Dove Wings or Wings of a Dove or something. I mean, I got to the bottom of the barrel of wedding vendors.
Okay.
And I talked to this guy. No, I'm serious. And this guy, I said, so you release doves for weddings? He goes, well, they're actually not doves.
They're pigeons.
They're pigeons. So
Yeah, my brother does that.
They come back.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
get
like,
to reuse them.
right. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, but people don't know. I'm like, you're in. I talked to a magician. He's like, I've never done a wedding, but you think people would book a wedding?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
You got a
dude.
magician there? Oh my
And I
goodness.
had I'm not kidding. I had no standards. I didn't get to a place where I had chocolate fountains were a big thing. Remember chocolate fountains?
Well, sure.
That was a big thing. And by the way,
it's still a big thing.
there's a massive amount of Crisco put into there to lubricate that chocolate to make it flow.
Cannot be good for you.
And I am not exaggerating. I had one of those shows where it was like there's like 3 or 4 photographers, there's 4 or 5 DJs, and then there's like 10 chocolate fountain vendors. Because I had no, and they're like, well, how many other chocolate fountain vendors? I'm like, well, that's a hot item, and we've got. I mean, it's just, and I would just work whatever angle. I had All American Fitness in there, and they weren't even sure why they were there. I had Bed Bath & Beyond.
Don't be a fat bride.
Dude, I told Bed Bath & Beyond that they didn't even have to buy a booth. I just said, we've had so many people that register at your place, they would just want you to be here. Mm-hmm. We'd be honored. And I used that name drop. I'd call vendors.
Yeah.
We've got Bed Bath & Beyond. I call back Libby. Hey, we've got Bed Bath & Beyond now. We've got chocolate fountain. We got even 10 chocolate fountain vendors. It's going to be massive. And I'm selling. And it gets into like the final 7 days before the show. And I haven't slept. I'm sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a day at this point, maybe 3-4 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I got bloodshot eyes, and I'm just working that phone. It's like and the phone, and my wife is like, I think she realizes for the first time what I've done. And she goes, babe, you have how many vendors? I'm like, I've got about 100 vendors coming to the Renaissance. She goes, and who's going to work it? And it occurred to me, Z, I have nobody to work the show. So then it became like getting a cash box. I'm not kidding. I mean, it was like I had to find people to work the cash box.
Yeah.
I got Jim Nicolati, the body with Galaxy Limos, to like lend me a cousin of his or something to work the cash
Lend
box.
me a cousin.
I had like a stamper I was buying like at midnight from like Walmart. I put the thing together, and it was the bridal show at the Renaissance Hotel, and we ended up having 1,000 people packed in there. We brought in, I want to say like $10,000 from people paying $5 to $10 a head to get in. You know, $10 premium, $5. Premium just meant you got there first. $5 meant you got there second. But we and Z, we barely got it to where it paid for itself.
Yeah.
But I had my DJ booth strategically located in all of the locations in the show, and I actually started a fictitious company called Always and Forever Wedding DJ Service that was always booked out. And it would refer DJ Connection.
Oh, unfortunately, we don't have that day. But
So brides would want to shop around. They're like, so what do you guys do differently from DJ Connection? And they're like, well, actually, we're all booked out, but they're awesome. Like, really? You'd recommend your competitor? Oh, yeah.
now, did you name it with an A on purpose?
Yeah, because it was first in the phone book.
Oh.
I mean, it
Gotta
was
cover
like
all those angles.
Oh, you got all the dirty moves.
dude,
I love
every
it.
Weasley
it.
move. And that's how and I remember
Weasley move. I love it.
after the show, I wrote Lauren the check, and I remember Vanessa talking to me about the math, and she's like, are you telling me that if we didn't sell out every booth and draw 1,000 people and do XYZ, we would have lost? I'm like, no, I mean, I would have,
Everything. Yes, we would have lost
I would
everything.
have had a maxed out credit card with no way to pay for it.
Right.
But, and that was sort of that
But we have
entrepreneurial
we have a relationship with a magician, and has
Right.
value.
Magic.
I'm trying to remember his name. That was like something like the Great. It was like it was a funny name. It was like the
Great Zandini.
Yeah, something like that. It was like it didn't make any sense in the context of a wedding show, but he was there.
I wonder if he booked anything. Did he book anything? Just out of curiosity. I'm just wondering. Hey, if you're out there listening and you were the magician at his show, let us know if you booked anything. I'm just curious.
Dude, and I had so many crazy things. Like vendors were setting up, and they're like, "Why am I directly next to another photographer?" And I'm like, "What was your name, Amber?" Oh, Amber, you're supposed to be over here. And I'm just like playing Tetris with vendors on the day of. I mean, I BS'd the whole thing. It came together. It was magnificent. But what happened is it became a tipping point for the DJ business because now I owned the biggest wedding show in Oklahoma. And now my competitors were financing my growth because they had to buy a booth to be in my show.
Oh, I bet they hated that.
Oh, dude, they all hated it. And it was a tipping point. I'm serious. And then the next year we did the wedding show. I started a party rental company. I had the DJ company. I had photography. All those businesses. And it was a monopoly,
Game
baby.
changer, baby.
A game changer. And I think that's sort of those hair on fire moments that as an entrepreneur, they define you, they make you,
Right.
or they break you. I don't want to do it again. But I know I did it. I went through it. My wife was on the cover of the Bridal Association brochures.
I don't have
because
anybody to
I
take a
couldn't
picture
afford,
of.
Well, I couldn't afford to pay Linda Lehman, and my wife was a Linda Lehman model, so that's how I did it. Shep, I mean, that's how you do it.
Well, I want to have an overarching point from what I've heard from your guys' answers, and I learned this from my dad as well. There is a cowboy mentality to entrepreneurship where you've just got to figure things out, kind of have the cojones to push the big thing forward, like
Saddle
Z
up
with
your
you.
horses.
Exactly. With you changing the whole advertising game in optometry, or Z, you're just going to start your own bridal show because you couldn't get into the other one. That's that whole get whatever it is done, no matter what wall is in front of you, you're going to blow right through it. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. And I saw my dad do this my whole life. People would tell him, no, all right, I'll do it another way. One silly example is we were out of town on a job, I remember, and a truck broke down, or I can't remember what happened, but we had two giant trailers with big pieces of equipment.
2 giant trailers.
And we're 3 hours from town, and he's like, I'm not coming back for these. So he just hooked them both up to one truck, and he's like, follow me, boy. And we just drive 40 miles an hour for the next 6 hours, and I'm like, you're insane, but that's what entrepreneurship is all about.
240 miles.
It was crazy, man. It was crazy.
6 hours at 40 miles per hour.
I want to give Z the final word on
1.21
this.
gigawatts.
I want to give Z the final word on this before you lead us out with a boom.
Okay.
If you're somebody out there listening to this podcast, you want to start a successful company, I want to give you the statistics out there that I hopefully are very encouraging for you. But Chup, I want to put this on the show notes, okay?
Okay.
9 out of 10 startups fail. I thought this was encouraging. Work with me. 9 out of 10 startups fail. 8 out of 10 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 businesses fail, according to Forbes, right? However, look at the biggest companies in the world. Think about it. Apple, Steve Jobs. Did he have a business coach? Yes. His name was Bill Campbell. Jeff Bezos, Amazon. What? Amazon? I think I've heard of Amazon before.
Yeah.
He had a business coach, right? Bill Campbell. Think about, I don't know. Think about Google. You ever heard about Google? You ever used Google? Google, they had a business coach. Guess what? It was Bill Campbell. So you say, you know what? Those are big left coast venture capital companies. Make it more real for me. Okay. Barbie Cookies right here in Tulsa. Barbie Cookies. Full Package Media in Dallas. Phone Doctors.
Phone doctors.
Phone Doctors.
Are those real? Are they real doctors?
Elephant in the Room. Lamode Cleaners. Total Ending Concepts. There are so many examples. Tulsa Oilers. So many businesses out there that have a business coach. And it doesn't mean that you're mildly retarded if you hire a business coach. In fact, Z, it shows that you have a coachability.
Correct.
So if you're listening out there and you find yourself in a perpetual state of chaos, my biggest breakthrough is when I realized that that kind of wedding show was my normal, and life shouldn't be that way. And it was when I finally humbled myself to a level to reach out to people who knew more than I did, who could mentor me. That's when I started having my breakthroughs. And so, see, for anybody out there who's been fighting this concept for a decade or more about having a mentor, paying a consultant, I don't have time to meet with a consultant, to pay a consultant, to hire a coach. What advice would you have for someone who's fighting that mindset of paying for wise counsel?
Well, I tell you what, an entrepreneur, I like what you said, Shep. They're kind of a cowboy.
Yeah.
They're kind of a go-getter. They're I'm gonna make something happen.
There may be rules, but we don't have to follow them all.
No, I'll make my own rules up. That's how I'm gonna do this thing. And so you already sort through the population of people, and you find they're typically an alpha. They're typically someone who's a getter done. They're good. They're gonna make something happen, right?
Right.
And so the idea that they couldn't make it happen all on their own can be a prideful thing. And asking for help is sometimes very difficult for that kind of personality in a person. And yet that's the very same thing. I mean, you're going to learn one or two ways. You're either going to make mistakes or you're going to get a mentor. It's going to shortcut you, right? And we don't want you to be one of the 80 or 90, whatever number you look at. You can Google it for failure of businesses. We want you to be, our heart is for you to succeed. That's why we do this radio show.
You will succeed with mentorship. You will succeed.
You will succeed. Now that we're humbly submitting to let us be your mentor. Come to our workshop. Get online. Do our business school online.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you say, I don't believe what you're saying, and just go on the Thrive Time show and click on the testimonials.
Yeah, there you go.
And just watch 600.
Yeah, instead of 5 hours of TV today, watch those 600.
600 testimonials.
There you go. Yeah.
Literally, there are over 600 video testimonials. Just watch it till your brain explodes, because we believe that the truth will set you free, and the truth is on our side. We have a system that works. We want to help you. But Z, we can't help them if we don't get a chance to know them. So if you're listening right now, just take the challenge. Reach out to us at thrivetimeshow.com. Email us, info@thrivetimeshow.com. Schedule your one-on-one consultation. And Z, do you want to take us out, my friend?
Oh, yeah.
Let's take it out.
Here we go.
All right.
Liechtenstein, did we answer your question well enough, by the way?
I think we sure did, yes.
I think is it Lichtenberg or Liechtenstein? Liechtensteinberg.
Steinbeck.
Ooh.
They catch a
Liechtensteinberg. I like that even better.
They catch a niner in there.
Yeah, I catch it. Yeah. All right, guys, ready? All Thrive Nation together. I know you're in your car. I know you're probably in the grocery store listening on your headset, but just do it. 3, 2, 1, boom!
JT, do you know what time it is?
4:10.
It's Tebow time in Tulsa, Jerusalem, baby. Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Whoa. During the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, 2024, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show Business Growth Workshop. Yes, folks, put it in your calendar. This December, the month of Christmas, December 5th and 6th, Tim Tebow is coming to Tulsa, Oklahoma in the Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business growth workshop. Whoa. We've been doing business conferences here since 2005. I've been hosting business conferences since 2005. What year were you born?
1995.
Dude, I've been hosting business conferences since you were 10 years old. And a lot of people, have followed Tim Tebow's football career on the field and off the field. And off the field, the guy's been just as successful as he has been on the field. Now, the big question is, JT, how does he do it?
Well, they're going to have to come and find out because I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying, Tim Tebow's going to teach us how he organizes his day, how he organizes his life, how he's proactive with his faith, his family, his finances. He's going to walk us through his mindset that he brings into the gym, into business. It is going to be a blasty blast in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Folks, I'm telling you, if you want to learn branding, you want to learn marketing, you want to learn search engine optimization, you want to learn social media marketing, that's what we teach at the Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive workshop. If you want to learn accounting, you want to learn sales systems, you want to learn how to build a linear workflow, you want to learn how to franchise your business, that is what we teach at the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show business workshop. You know, over the years, we've had the opportunity to feature Michael Levine, the PR consultant of choice for Nike, for Prince, for Michael Jackson. We've had the top PR consultant in the history of the planet has spoken at the Thrive Time Show workshops. We've had Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, a company that creates apparel worn by celebrities all throughout the world. Jill Donovan, the founder of RusticCuff.com, has spoken at the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show business workshops. We have the man who's responsible for turning around Harley Davidson, a man by the name of Ken Schmidt. He has spoken at the Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops. Folks, I'm telling you, these events are going to teach you what you need to know to start and grow a successful business. And the way we price the events, the way we do these events, is you can pay $250 for a ticket or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, we've designed these events to be affordable for you, and we want to see you live and in person at the 2-day interactive December 5th and 6th Thrive Time Show Business Workshop. Everything that you need to succeed will be taught at the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show Business Workshop, December 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the way we do these events is we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a question and answer session so that wonderful people like you can have your questions answered. Yes, we teach for 30 minutes, and then we open it up for a 15-minute question and answer session. It's interactive. It's 2 days. It's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've been doing these events since 2005, and I'm telling you, folks, it's going to blow your mind. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshop is America's highest rated and most reviewed business workshop. See the thousands of video testimonials from real people just like you who've been able to build multi-million-dollar companies. Watch those testimonials today at thrivetimeshow.com. Simply by clicking on the testimonials button right there at thrivetimeshow.com, you're going to see thousands of people just like you who've been able to go from just surviving to thriving. Whoa. Each and every day, we're going to add more and more speakers to this all-star lineup, but I encourage everybody out there today, get those tickets today. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com. And some people might be saying, well, how do I do it? What do I do? How does it work? You just go to thrivetimeshow.com. Let's go there now. We're feeling the flow. We're going to thrivetimeshow.com. Again, you just go to thrivetimeshow.com. You click on the business conferences button, and you click on the request tickets button right there. The way I do our conferences is we tell people it's $250 to get a ticket.
Yep.
Or whatever price that you can afford. And the reason why I do that is I grew up without money. JT, you're in the process of building a super successful company. Did you start out with $1 million in the bank account?
No, I did not. Nope, did not get any loans, nothing like that. Did not get an inheritance from parents or anything like that. I had to work for it, and I'm super grateful. I came to a business conference. That's actually how I met you, met Peter Taunton. I met all these people.
So if you're out there today and you want to come to our workshop, again, you just got to go to thrivetimeshow.com. You might say, well, who's speaking? We already covered that. You might say, where's it going to be? It's going to be in Tulsa, Jerusalem, Oklahoma. And someone says, Tulsa, Jerusalem. I'm really trying to rebrand Tulsa as Tulsa, Jerusalem, sort of like the Jerusalem of America. But if you type in Thrive Time Show and Jinx, you can get a sneak peek or a look at our office facility. This is what it looks like. This is where you're headed. It's going to be a blasty blast. You can look inside, see the facility. We're going to have hundreds of entrepreneurs here. It is going to be packed. Now, for this particular event, folks, the seating is always limited because my facility isn't a limitless convention center. You're coming to my actual home office, and so it's going to be packed. Who? You're going to come. Who? You? I'm talking to you. You can just get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. And again, you can name your price. We tell people it's $250 or whatever price you can afford. And we do have some select VIP tickets, which gives you an access to meet some of the speakers and those sorts of things. And those tickets are $500. It's a 2-day interactive business workshop, over 20 hours of business training. We're going to give you a copy of my newest book, The Millionaire's Guide to Becoming Sustainably Rich. You're going to leave with a workbook. You're going to leave with everything you need to know to start and grow a super successful company. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's Tebow time right here in Tulsa, Jerusalem. Get those tickets today at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hello, I'm Michael Levine, and I'm talking to you right now from the center of Hollywood, California, where I have represented over the last 35 years 58 Academy Award winners, 34 Grammy Award winners, 43 New York Times bestsellers. I've represented a lot of major stars, and I've worked with a lot of major companies. And I think I've learned a few things about what makes them work and what makes them not work. Now, why would a man living in Hollywood, California, in the beautiful sunny weather of LA, come to Tulsa? Because last year I did it, and it was damn exciting. Clay Clark has put together an exceptional presentation, really life-changing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you then. I'm Michael Levine. I'll see you in Tulsa.
Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the world's highest rated and most reviewed business workshops because we teach you what you need to know to grow.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.
And now you may be thinking, what does it actually cost to attend an in-person 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show business workshop? Well, good news. The tickets are $250 or whatever price that you can afford. What? Yes, they're $250 or whatever price you can afford. I grew up without money, and I know what it's like to live without money. So if you're out there today and you want to attend our in-person 2-day interactive business workshop, all you got to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com to request those tickets. And if you can't afford $250, we have scholarship pricing available to make it affordable for you.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
Whoa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, not Scottsdale, Arizona. They're close, but they're completely different worlds. And we have a special guest today. Definition of intelligence is if you agree with me, you're intelligent. And so this gentleman is very intelligent. I've done his show before also, but very seldom do you find somebody who lines up on all counts. And it's a Mr. Clay Clark. He's a friend of a good friend, Eric Trump. But we're also talking about money, bricks, and how screwed up the world can get in a few and a half hour. So Clay Clark is a very intelligent man, and there's so many ways we could take this thing. But I thought, since you and Eric are close, Trump, what were you saying about what Trump can't, what Donald, who's my age, and I can say or cannot say?
Well, I have to, first of all, I have to honor you, sir. I want to show you what I did to one of your books here. There's a guy by the name of Jeremy Thorne, who was my boss at the time. I was 19 years old, working at Faith Highway. I had a job at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And he said, "Have you read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad?" And I said, "No." And my father, may he rest in peace, he didn't know these financial principles. So I started reading all of your books and really devouring your books. And I went from being an employee to self-employed, to the business owner, to the investor. And I owe a lot of that to you. And I just wanted to take a moment to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me to achieve success. And then I'll tell you all about Eric Trump. But I just want to tell you, thank you, sir, for changing my life.
But not only that, Clay, thank you, but you become an influencer. More than anything else, you've evolved into an influencer where your word has more and more power. So that's why I congratulate you on becoming. Because as you know, there's a lot of fake influencers out there, too, or bad influencers.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad you and I agree so much. And thanks for reading my books.
Yeah.
That's the greatest thrill for me today. Not a thrill, but recognition is when people, young men especially, come up and say, "I read your book, changed my life. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this."
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say. Whoa.